The day the last stars of Eryndor flickered out, the ancient dragon lay alone on the scorched plateau, wings spread like shattered monuments, scales dull and cracked, his chest rising in shallow, ragged breaths. He had counted the centuries, had watched entire civilizations crumble beneath the weight of their own arrogance, and he had decided that his time had come. Today he would die. But the wind carried something unfamiliar, a tiny trembling sound, soft against the roar of the dying world. A human boy. Alone. Fear carved deep lines into his young face, but his eyes held something the dragon had not felt in millennia. Curiosity. Hope. And when the boy stretched out his hand, as if the distance between them could be bridged by sheer will, the dragon's heart, ancient, impervious, scarred by loss, stirred. I didn't mean to find you, the boy whispered, voice trembling against the hiss of hot ash that coated the plateau. I was just running. But that was only the beginning. The dragon's mind raced. A human this far from the ruins of the colonies should have perished long ago. The air around them smelled of molten stone and old magic, the remnants of a forgotten war that had scarred the planet itself. And yet, here he was, a living, breathing anomaly. Why are you here? The dragon rumbled, each word a shudder through the cracked earth beneath them. His throat, dry and raw, produced smoke in uneven pulses. You should not have survived the fires of Lathar. The boy's lips quivered. I wanted to see if the stories were true. About you. About the last dragon. For a heartbeat, the dragon considered the irony. He had believed himself a legend, but a dying one, fading into myth while the galaxy moved on. And now, a child, fragile, defiant, impossibly alive, looked at him with awe rather than fear. What makes you think I will not burn you alive for your curiosity? The dragon asked, wings twitching. Smoke drifted from his nostrils. Everything in your kind is fleeting, fragile, dangerous. But the boy did not flinch. Instead, he stepped closer, hand outstretched again. I don't want to fight, he said simply. I just wanted to see you alive. To know the truth. What I saw next changed everything. The dragon remembered the countless humans he had watched rise and fall. Brilliant, fragile, violent. He had felt their hands scorch his scales in war, seen their fleets rip through worlds. And yet, there was something about this small human that pierced the armor of centuries. Something unbroken. Something real. He lowered his massive head, closer to the boy. The boy's fingers brushed a scale, rough and cold, yet alive. And for the first time in centuries, the dragon felt warmth, not in his body, which was failing him, but in his heart. The warmth of being seen, of being understood. You should not touch me, the dragon said, voice softer than he intended. It is dangerous. I know, the boy whispered. But it's the only way I know you're real. The dragon exhaled slowly, a plume of smoke curling into the twilight sky, carrying with it centuries of sorrow. His mind, fractured by time and pain, began to remember the melodies of long-forgotten forests, of oceans that sang beneath twin suns. He remembered flying over cities that no longer existed, feeling the wind lift him higher than the tallest spires. And he remembered loneliness. I have waited for someone, the dragon said finally, voice trembling. I thought no one would ever come. The boy's eyes widened. Waited? For me? Yes, the dragon replied. Or, for someone like you. Someone who could see me as I am, not just as a relic of your history. But that was only the beginning. A tremor ran through the plateau. Not from the boy, not from the dragon, but from the world itself. Deep in the earth, old machines awoke, remnants of human arrogance and alien conquest intertwined. Long-buried satellites, once orbiting in perfect synchrony, now fell like meteorites into the scarred ground. And the dragon, sensing the disturbance, shifted uneasily. Your kind never learns, he murmured, claws digging into the stone. Even when I die, you will destroy yourselves. But perhaps not today. The boy looked at him, uncertainty and awe mixed in equal measure. Then we have to leave, he said. We have to get out of here before. Before what? The boy's words faltered, and for a moment, silence reigned. Then came the shadow, immense, mechanical, alien. A sentinel from the old wars, its sensors glowing like cold stars, landing with a hiss of anti-gravity thrusters. It had one purpose. Termination. The boy froze, terror rooting him to the ground. The dragon growled, a low, vibrating thunder that shook loose stones from the plateau. He had faced such things before, during wars long forgotten by humans, but never had he felt the need to protect something so small, so human, so fragile. "Behind me," the dragon commanded, voice sharp, almost desperate. "Do not move." The boy obeyed, pressing close against the dragon's chest, feeling the vibrations of life that had endured countless millennia. The sentinel's lasers cut through the mist, red streaks of inevitability, but the dragon moved with speed that belied his age. Flames erupted from his mouth, scorching the ground, making the sentinel hesitate. For a moment, it seemed as though the dragon might fail. Age weighed on him, scales cracked under the strain of combat, wings threatening to fold in on themselves. The boy's hand found the dragon's neck again, gripping, steadying, connecting. And then, something impossible happened. The dragon's fire flared brighter than it had in centuries, drawn not from strength alone, but from the bond forming between human and beast. The sentinel faltered, sparks flying from its armor, before collapsing into the scorched soil. But that was only the beginning. The boy and the dragon fled the plateau, descending into the ruins of the human city below. Skyscrapers, hollowed out and blackened, loomed over them like giants from another age. Here, the wind whispered secrets of experiments gone awry, of alien technologies fused with human ambition. And in the shadows, creatures that should have been extinct stirred, sensing the dragon's presence, sensing the boy's courage. "Why are you helping me?" the boy asked, breath ragged, as they navigated crumbling streets. "You could leave me, or worse." "I do not know," the dragon admitted, wings folding around him in a protective arc. "Perhaps, because in all my years, no one has ever tried to see me alive." "Not really. Not until you." They reached the central plaza, a place where an ancient alien artifact, long dormant, hummed with energy. It was said to hold the power to reset or destroy worlds, a relic from a civilization older than Earth itself. And now it stirred awake. The boy looked up at the dragon. "We have to stop it," he said. Or everything will die." The dragon hesitated. His strength was waning. Each movement a test of endurance. But he could not leave the boy, nor could he allow this new generation of humans, or this old relic, to destroy what little remained. Together, they approached the artifact. Its glow bathed them in pale light, illuminating the dragon's cracked scales and the boy's determined eyes. And then the artifact reacted, not to fear, not to violence, but to connection. The boy's hand, resting on the dragon, channeled something ancient, something unbroken. The energy of the artifact bent around them, reshaping, rewinding, healing what could be healed. The dragon roared, not in pain, not in anger, but in relief, in renewal. Flames no longer just destructive, they carried life, light, and hope. The artifact calmed, the city held, and for the first time in millennia, the dragon felt peace. "What did we just do?" the boy asked, voice trembling with awe. "We survived," the dragon said, and for the first time he smiled. "Together." And as the sun rose over Eryndor, golden and unbroken, the last dragon, ancient beyond measure, lifted the boy onto his back. Together, they soared, leaving the scorched ruins behind, riding the wind of a world reborn. The boy's laughter rang across the sky, light and unafraid. The dragon's roar answered, deep and resonant, carrying the weight of centuries. And somewhere far below, humanity had witnessed the impossible. A bond between species, between past and future, that no war, no time, no ambition could destroy. Because in the end, it was not power that saved the world. It was connection. It was trust. It was the courage of a human boy, daring to touch a creature who had believed himself beyond hope. And the dragon, once prepared to die, found life again, not just in himself, but in the heart of a small, unwavering hand. The wind carried them higher, over mountains, over rivers, over ruins of what was. And as they disappeared into the horizon, one truth remained. Legends are not just made, they are lived, they are touched, and sometimes they are saved by those who are least expected to save them. The last dragon was no longer alone. And neither was the world.